I promise you a magical life. Definition of magic: the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces, from Oxford Languages. Well, I don't know about the supernatural forces, but maybe I can't rule that out. Expect to be satisfied, fulfilled, happy, and enlightened. You have to practice, though. This is not a thought experiment. You don't believe me? Try, and leave comments about what you're discovering. We will be conjuring up your power turned up to maximum. We're going to be doing some conjuring, but not so much magic, but it'll seem magical, mysterious, and supernatural. Your performance will be so over the top, you will be shocked. That's what I'm committed to in this conversation. We're going to go through integrity and what it is, and the 12 reasons why we don't use this phenomenal practice. And it will seem mysterious and supernatural. And it will be the result of the power that you accrue from honoring yourself as your word. And this is how you do it. Your comprehension will increase 44% if you read these slides to yourself as I read them to you. Our word defined. What you said you would do. Well, that's pretty obvious. If you said you would take out the trash, if you said you would be faithful, that's your word. 2, what you know to do. That's not so obvious, but there's things that we know to do. That is part of our word. What is expected of you, what is expected of us, by those you wish to have a workable relationship. If you don't wish to have a workable relationship with somebody, you just don't need to care about what they expect of you. But if someone expects something of you, if your relationship with them is important to you, imagine if you don't fulfill that expectation, there's going to be an upset. And if they're upset with you, you may not know why, but there's going to be a loss of affinity. They could stop communicating. They could get angry. We want to be clear about what expectations people have of us and let them know what they can expect of us. For what you say is so. That's pretty obvious, is your word. If you say it's hot outside, people go outside and they discover it's hot, then your integrity is in. If they discover that it's freezing cold and you said it was hot, there's a breakdown in the integrity of your word. What you say you stand for. If you stand for ending hunger, whatever people come to believe from your actions is what you stand for. That's part of your word. Let's explore deeper one by one. 1, what you said you would do. Whatever you said you would do or not do, and doing it on time as it is meant to be done. 2, what you know to do. Whatever you know to do or not do. In the case of doing it on time as it is meant to be done, unless you've communicated to the contrary. What is expected of you is also unusual in our way we relate to our word. Whatever you are expected or requested to do or not do, and if it is something to do, doing it on time as it is meant to be done by all those you wish to have a working relationship. Whether any of the above is explicitly expressed or not, unless you have communicated to the contrary. Your expectations of others must be made explicit. That's not their word. It's your word. If someone expects us to do something or not do something, if you want to have a relationship with them. I mean, imagine if someone has an expectation of me to do something and I don't do it, they're very likely to be upset with me when I don't do it, or do something that they don't want me to do. So it makes a lot of sense to find out what other people's expectations are of me, so I don't go around upsetting them. And when a person you have a relationship with, a working relationship with, is upset, your performance with them is going to be colored and shaped by that upset. And your performance together won't be so great. What you say is so. Whatever you have given your word to others as the existence of something or some state of the world, your word includes being willing to be held accountable, that others would find your evidence makes what you have asserted valid for themselves. Well, this makes sense. We operate like this pretty consistently in life. Standing for something. This is not so intuitive. What you stand for, that is, what you say your life is about, and for what you can be unquestionably counted on, whether expressed in the form of a declaration to one or more people, or even to yourself, as well as what you allow people to believe you stand for, is part of your word. If you said you would be working on ending hunger on the planet, then that is your word. And whatever else people expect, or you've led people to believe that you are standing for, that is your word. 6, moral, ethical, and legal standards. The moral, ethical, and legal standards which you have not explicitly declined are part of your word. Integrity is keeping your word, fulfilling the conditions of all 6 ways above, or whenever you will not be keeping your word, as soon as you become aware of that you will not be keeping your word, saying to everyone impacted, you will not be keeping your word, that you will be keeping your word in the future, and by when, or you won't be keeping your word. What you will do to deal with the impact on others from the failure to keep your word. Integrity is not always keeping our word. Integrity is honoring one's word. Always keeping our word. It is impossible to always keep our word. We would need to be sure we were not up to anything at all. For sure, nothing with any risk to it. You'd jump in bed, pull the covers over your head, and tell people, don't count on me for anything at all. Your integrity would be in. Always honoring your word. It is possible to always honor our word. We can maintain our integrity when not keeping our word. Always honoring our word. When we clean up the mess we made by not keeping our promise, paradoxically, it builds trust. People you relate to know that you are a person of integrity. Just imagine if everyone related to you this way, regardless of the type of relationship. What would that be like for you? Review. Your word is, or our word is, what you said you would do or not do, what you know to do or not do, what is expected of you, even if they haven't said, by those you wish to have a workable relationship. 4, what you say is so, what you assert, what you say you stand for, moral, ethical, and legal standards of the societies, groups, and governmental agencies of which we enjoy membership. To the degree that integrity is increased, the opportunity for performance is increased. This will happen for you. For us, we maximize workability. Without integrity, nothing works. No trust, no workability. Integrity maximizes opportunities. This practice makes a profound difference in our lives. We also distinguish ourselves from our psychology. We gain the capacity to operate beyond our feelings and emotions. There are times we don't feel like being on time, being faithful, etc., and we will, or we'll clean up the mess. We won't need to wait around for the feelings of love, for example. We say, I love you, and that's just the way it is. Our word is law, not our emotions. The feelings that do follow from our speaking are way more moving and powerful than the ones we wait for. This will become especially clear in later videos, and as you practice, you will see this for yourself. We know ourselves as our word. Our emotions and feelings fall in line with what we say. We have complete dominion over what we say, not so much with our emotions. We normally wait for the circumstances to line up with some ideal before we can love. We end up being prisoners waiting in the hope for that special moment or person. It's a trap. In a later video, we'll discuss how we came to be this way. There are many other very powerful things you will discover in this practice. Bring a sense of wonder and let us know what you discover. You will be surprised by the miracles you produce. In spite of the extraordinary amount of performance one gains in the practice of doing this, there are 12 hidden reasons why we do not practice being a person of integrity. The 12 reasons for poor performance. You and I sacrifice outstanding opportunities without even being aware of it. If we become aware and confront these reasons, while not at all pleasant, our performance will break through to another level. This will cause miracles in our lives. About me, I taught the Being a Leader and Effective Exercise of Leadership, an ontological and phenomenological model, for 4 years in over 6 top universities in Kiev, Ukraine, and once in Almaty, Kazakhstan, to a top university there. And I managed filling the first UCLA course using these course distinctions. I was trained directly by the authors of the course. So the credit for the course, the materials in this slide deck are abstracted from the semester-long 40-hour university-level course that has been taught in top universities like Harvard, United States Air Force Academy, University of California, Los Angeles, Rochester Simon School of Business, Dartmouth Medical School, Texas A&M, Nanyang Technical University, in Zayed University, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, University of British Columbia Entrepreneurship. The full course is here. Erhard Jensen, Course Materials for Being a Leader and Effective Exercise of Leadership, an Ontological and Phenomenological Model. Here are the links at the Social Science Research Network, or just simply search for SSRN Course Materials for the Being a Leader and Effective Exercise of Leadership course, and you'll find Harvard working paper. This presentation here is not as academically oriented as the above. I apologize that it's not all that exciting with a lot of graphics. I may try that in the future. However, I think it's important to get the word out. I know I'm just communicating straightforward so that you're left with more with the materials than with my personality. And research shows if you read these slides yourself as I read them to you, your comprehension will increase by 44%. I already said that. None of this will make a difference unless you can discover these distinctions for yourself. That is to say, map them onto your life. The dozen reasons we sacrifice performance. 1. We sacrifice opportunities and we don't even see it. It is in our blind spot, hidden from view. A veil, so to speak. If we got present to what it cost us, we would stop it. The intention here is to confront what we routinely forfeit. It is not likely to be pleasant, however extremely fruitful. 2, not seeing that who you are as a person is your word. Thinking we are our body, mental state, mood, emotions, thoughts, title, position in life, possessions, or anything else leaves us unable to see when our word is less than whole and complete, and we are diminished as a person. A person is constituted in language, and when a person's word is less than whole and complete, we are diminished. And it's worse, we don't just think it, we are that. Our behaviors and actions are consistent with that. We are our body, our mental state, mood, emotions, thoughts, title, position, possessions, and many other things. So if we constitute ourselves in language, something becomes available when we get ourselves whole and complete. Otherwise, we are diminished. 3, living as if our word is only what we said we would do, and what we say is so, ignoring the other 4 ways our word exists, which are 2, what you know to do or not do, 3, what is expected of you by those with whom you wish to have a workable relationship, 5, what you stand for, and 6, moral, ethical, and legal standards for each society, group, and governmental agency of which I am a member, which you are a member, which we are members. 3, continued, we function in life as though our word, 2, 3, 5, and 6, do not occur for us as having given our word. It's invisible to us, and thus ensuring that we are out of integrity, and being out of integrity diminishes our workability and thus performance. 4, considering integrity to be a virtue. For most people and organizations, integrity does not exist as a necessary condition of workability. Instead of being recognized as a factor of production, it is regarded as a virtue, and virtuous things can be sacrificed when needed. 5, deceiving ourselves when we are out of integrity. We are mostly unaware when we have not kept our word. When it does come to our attention, we have a repertoire of justifications. What do we tell ourselves after we say, I'll call you tomorrow, let's have lunch next week, I'll send you that proposal, I promise to love, cherish, and whatever else we say, and then we don't. We are mostly unaware of that, and that deception, when we are out of integrity, costs us. 6, integrity is only having to keep our word. The belief that integrity is always keeping one's word, this leaves no way to maintain integrity when it is not possible, inappropriate, or when you will not be keeping your word. 7, fear of acknowledging we are not going to keep our word. When we maintain integrity, by acknowledging we are not going to keep our word and cleaning up the mess, it appears as a threat, as it did when we were children, so we tend to avoid it. This results in being blind to the power and respect from acknowledging we did not keep our word. 8, integrity is not seen as a factor of production. This leads us to make up stories with rationalizations to deflect the failure to keep our word, rather than simply saying, when you said you would do something, I didn't do it. I will or will not do it, and by when I will do it or not do it. The same for when we did something we agreed not to do or were expected to do something. 9, not doing a cost-benefit analysis of giving one's word. When giving our word, most of us do not consider fully what it will take to keep that word. We are well-meaning, are placating, and we don't evaluate what it will take to keep our word. We don't see what we say as, I'm going to make that happen. We generally give our word intending to keep it. If it becomes too difficult, we provide reasons instead of results. This is the source of mess left in our lives and organizations. 10. Doing a cost-benefit analysis of honoring our word. We apply the cost-benefit analysis to honoring our word, which guarantees that we are untrustworthy. We are in effect saying that when it comes time to honor my word, I will not, if the cost exceeds the benefits. For example, when it comes time for me to call you, like I said, and I don't feel like it, I will not, and I won't acknowledge it or bother to clean up the mess. 11. Integrity is always dissipating. Integrity is always going out. We are drawn to cover up our misdeeds and avoid being accountable. We all believe our integrity is in, and if aware of being out integrity, we believe we will soon get it back in, so there is no need to acknowledge the out integrity condition. Being a person of integrity, being people of integrity that we are, we enthusiastically embrace the out integrity condition as soon as it occurs and take appropriate action to restore it, our actions. 12. Not having your word in existence when it comes time to keep it. Our word needs to be kept somewhere other than our memory. Upsets, distractions, etc. keep us from maintaining integrity. A calendar, a notepad, Post-its, objects that intrude into our routine that remind us what we said. For instance, we use contracts for very important issues. Our word is worthy of such commitment if we want unparalleled performance. Congratulations if you made it this far. It is an extraordinary accomplishment. You are standing in front of the possibility of creating a new kind of human being. Integrity is one of 4 foundational elements for the being of a leader and effective exercise of leadership. And I remind you that we all do lead ourselves. Subscribe to be notified of the other 3. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate your attention, and I acknowledge you for a commitment to an extraordinary life. I love you.